What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video with me, Essex Hydra. That's right, Imperial Navy one more time before we move on to something else. I'm just working my way up to Legendary with them. I'm just a tiny little bit away, honest. And we're against Tau here. We're against one of the top Tau players, and it just so happens that I kind of know what fleet he tends to rock, which is normally a big old flagship and a lot of aircraft and a lot of missiles that I'm going to have to dodge. But we're rocking a fairly silent fleet right now. We've gone for quite a few Dauntless. Now, these are the Dauntless without missiles, and I know what you're thinking, Hydra, they're not as good as the other ones, and yeah, maybe you are right. Maybe you're right, but they do mean that I don't have to micro quite so much, so I fancy trying them for a game just to have a little comparison of DPS. So, objective in this game, and we'll try and do a little bit of a talk-through discussion, keep this sort of fairly informative as we go, but objective for this game is basically going to be to survive his onslaught of torpedoes and things of that nature and fighters. He's going to probably be using them to scout a little bit. I've watched him play a few times, so this is kind of an advantage, but then a lot of people watch me play a lot, and you know what fleet I'm bringing anyway, so that's absolutely fine. So Dauntless are going to be heading down the right-hand side here, looking to try and get a free pick, looking to try and get a lonely little escort on the right-hand side of the map. We're going to see if that actually happens. We're putting our main ship, which obviously cannot go silent, running within a gas cloud at the spawn, which is one of the... It's always nice to have a gas cloud in your spawn. It is an absolute lifesaver because it denies the enemy, A, the ability to select your deck or whichever bit they'd like to target. It also means they can't, well, they have no idea where you are, and they also don't know what you are. So gas clouds in the spawn, personally I'm a huge fan, especially when you got micro warp jump, not junk, jump, which is just fantastic to engage with, and I'd rather not walk my way up the map and have to deal with a rain of bombers. There we go, we can see them being fired already. It shows straight away that he's rocking a fairly standard fleet of protectors, and they're pretty nasty actually. The fighters and bombers and torpedoes can really burst down a few units. I was actually watching this gentleman play earlier, and I'm going to link his Twitch down below in the comments if you want to go check him out. Please do, he's a really nice guy, and he's happy to share information as he pleases with others. Like myself, doesn't go for the most optimum fleets, but goes for stuff that he's going to have a little bit of fun with. So, we have a disruptor heading on in. We're going to be trying to use the escort to catch this and take it away from my main ships. I don't want him actually having eyes where he wants to have eyes. I want to, you know, place his vision where I want it. So what we're going to do is take the little on escort over here. We've swung in its path, so now all we have to do is head straight towards it, and now we can use our thruster to move out of the way. There is, of course, a little bit of risk with this, that now he'll just send a bomber on this unit, but I do kind of have a plan for that. Because we've got a bunch of units here on silent running, we can be using those. Now, it's true that I did let them get identified here, but what we're going to use them for now is just to quickly burst this down. And here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my word, that is quite a lot of turrets. But that still takes forever to take these guys down. Obviously, we're not going to change stance out of silent running because we're going to need that stealth. Well, that's going to be super important to dodge the next wave, which, speak of the devil, here they come. Bunch of heat-seeking missiles and other stuff. Now, if they were getting close, I would thrust out of here and go straight back into stealth, but basically I'm seeing if I can take this unit of fighters down, and that's 1 out of 3 for at least one of the ships that has fighters on his side, and that's, I believe it was a tier 4 set of fighters, so I honestly think it's kind of worth taking down if you can. Now you notice as soon as we get here, there we are back into stealth. Now we get to see how the pathfinding in this game has improved, and watch a bunch of missiles head towards me. There we are, ramming each other. We're off to a good start, ramming each other some more. Having a little bit of trouble setting paths here. So what happens with these heat-seeking missiles is when you break line of sight, they will basically no longer be tracking, so they'll just fire in a straight line. Still does have a couple of units of fighters though, and they obviously could be a little bit of a problem. These are only tier 2, so far less threatening, will die a lot quicker, so again, target priority to these. They're not actually going to attach themselves to a unit that walks into their proximity. They're only going to be sat here scouting, so might as well take them down for free. Now, in some situations that might not be a safe thing to do. I've decided that for me, in this situation, given how far away he is, and given how long it will be for a new set of bombers to arrive, I'm feeling like this is a decent investment for me since I've taken them down back into silent running. Now, I think one thing we could have done is send one of these units up to the top right to capture that earlier on. We're sending all 7 up there right now, which is obviously quite a big investment, but a small group of bombers heading on back, which looks like They were heading down to the escorts down here, but having thrusted them as far away as I can, it appears that their 30 seconds were up of being marked, and now they are safe and good to go again. So, heading on over to the objective in the right, you can see my opponent here doing the correct thing. He is setting up in the region of the map that has 3 points. This is the correct thing to do. This is exactly where he should be. And this is going to be forcing my hand to make me go to him. I'm running silent running right now. Yes, this is true. However, I don't have any advantage in terms of, at least I won't have enough of an advantage in terms of points once he's got all 3 of these captured. So I'm going to need to capture not only this one on the top right, but then I'm going to need to contest one of these other 3. Now, another little probe coming for me. I don't really want to be probed today. It's only a Thursday, so what we're going to do is Friday by the time the video comes out, but anyway, you know what I mean. We're going to try and get out of there and just carry on that probe. What I don't want is him having that probe on my flagship and then being able to launch a volley of bombers. I don't mind so much if he takes down my tiny little guy. That's okay. If he sets a wave of pain towards my flagship, I'll be particularly sad. So, without any further ado, I think it looks like we might have a little bit of combat brewing. We have quite a few more fighters heading our way. That looks like somewhere in the region of 8. And a very tempting looking, little juicy escort down here on his Todd. Looking very, very tempting. And we thrusted straight past. That's something you need to keep an eye on. Sometimes it's worth just not using the thruster ability. So we have been identified here. We're going to have to get out nice and sharpish. Because we've been identified, we're now taking fire, and now, of course, he knows that all he has to do is scan me. So once you've given away your position, you do have to be careful. I think a little bit of a mistake on my part to not watch there, so thrust back in, and yep, there we are being marked. Now, the question is, do I want to engage right now? Well, I've got 2 units on the right-hand side, so my decision-making at this point is I'm going to run away. This will sometimes go horribly, horribly wrong in this situation. When an enemy's got range and crits and all of these other juicy things, you might just be losing a ship here. And I think in some, I don't know, maybe it's 50-50, but this is a risky thing to do. Running away is risky, but then engaging I felt would have been more risky. And it seems so far that it's just about paid off. We've got a damage generator on that ship still, even though we did do the repair to get the engines back online. And we thrust it past again. Oh, Hydra, mistakes were made. Anywho, right, so he's got the 3rd point to capture, and we have a small advantage of points of about 100. It's not a huge amount, is it? Not a huge amount, but we're setting up basically for a fight. That seems to be what's happening right now. We're going to send this escort up here, basically so it's not sat in the butt end of nowhere doing nothing. So it's going to be basically camping that point, so if it is contested later on, it will be serving some purpose of, well, being able to contest it. Now, we still have a damage generator here, 41 seconds until we can repair. We're going to be loading up and getting ready to fight. We've got the 2 escorts on the left as well. We can keep an eye on those and keep them ready, perhaps to try and bait him around. That's at least my thinking right now. They could get scanned, which might be a little bit unfortunate, but I'm not expecting him to go scanning around the peripheries of the map. Not when he knows that I'm directly to his east, or his west, depending which way the map is located. So we're on the approach here and we're getting ready. This is basically the lineup before the big battle, and things are about to kick off soon. Sending our secondary fleet over. Those guys, I really don't know what I was doing with them. They should be back here with the main force already, so this is a little bit embarrassing on my part. And it looks like, there we are, there's the movement order to send them on in, and we're going to approach slowly. Now, what we've got over here on the left is a bit of a diversion. We're just looking with the camera to see if he takes the bait. There we are. So as soon as he's taken the bait, we know his camera's moved over to the left-hand side. He's doing some micro, so all we're going to do is send this escort all the way out. We don't want it there, but we want his interest there. We want him thinking about it. That way, there you go. A little bit of success. He's used the probe that way. If he had sent that in front of him, that would have put these ships in a whole world of pain. That would have been an absolute nightmare. So that was a complete success. Now, a massive, massive blunder on my... No! I spawned this facing the wrong way. There is no way at all you should be facing a ship this way. We've managed to get the brace for impact off just in time. Managed to get a few boarding actions too, and it looks like his flagship is taking a little bit of damage, but it's really not a huge amount, is it? That would have been so much more effective if we had got our main flagship to ram it, and it does seem that one of my ships is going to be pincered. That's looking pretty painful. We'll give it the rallying speech, and we're going to have to try and do some micro to claw our way out of this, because this is pretty much an absolute disaster. Spawning, facing the wrong direction, not getting the torpedo volley off, not even getting one torpedo volley off. Not good. Could have absolutely loaded him with fires right now, which meant my boarding actions would have been far more effective. Getting torpedoed there on the side. We're still doing some ramming with the main flagship, but it's not quite enough to get his health down. The actual main impact has gone now, so now we're just trickling down his health. We've got the reinforcements coming up top, but they're going to be coming in a little bit late and a little bit staggered to the fight, which is not good. Hopefully they'll be here in time to save the damn day. Now the rest of our ships are basically trying to get into the butt of these Tau fish ships, I'll call them. I don't know what sort of shape they are, but it's something very nautical about it. And the aim is to charge them in the rear because, well, or the rear or the side, they just simply have less armour there. So I have to still be careful. He does own 3 points, and he has 500 more than me in terms of points right now, or close to anyway. He's doing really well, so we're going to get another cheeky ram here off the side with one of our Dauntless. Nice little bit of damage coming in, and that's just enough to finish him off. Now main ship is in a little bit of trouble. 77 seconds till that warp jump is available again. Doesn't look like he's going to be making it out. Leadership looking a little bit rough. 15 seconds before we can do anything here to actually stressful. Leadership going to be coming in another 10 seconds or so. It looks like he's about to break, and we may have to end up executing some crew. We're going to get the rams coming in as well. This is the best way to take down a Tau close up. It is really, really important to do so. A change into the reload stance just to increase that damage. It's going to increase the damage by a fair bit, but goddamn, my ship is not looking particularly healthy right now. Now fortunately the ships are in the rear and they're managing to get a decent amount of ram damage. We're going to start capturing these other points, because if we don't do this very, very soon, well, that lead that he's got, okay, we've actually tipped this in my favour, but it could potentially still swing in his if he manages to take my flagship down. So basically, if you've got a spare moment, capture the points back. Seems unlikely that he's going to be able to contest them right now with all of this stuff going on. So main ship's managing to get away just about. Looks like that shield's going to be up fairly soon. Might have to break. It's going to break. There we are. But fortunately enough crew left, because it's still green to execute now. Very, very lucky we managed to get a wonderful warp jump, which is going to send him off over there. Can't repair, still on fire. That might be the end of him. We'll find out sooner or later. And only a couple of ships left. This is going to be really, really close. He has more points than me right now, so these ships need to go down. We need to get some rams off. Fortunately, Tau, even when they ram you, take a whole lot of damage. A little bit of a thrust up the butt there, and that's enough to finish him off. Now, another one as well, worth finishing off, because if you don't, you're going to lose out on points. A little bit of a close one there. A little bit of a close one, indeed, just pushing the wreckage of his commander out of the way, trying to retreat him back to home base for the greater good, but not quite good enough. Now, I spy with my little eye one little escort up the top here, looking very, very tasty and good for a ram. Let's finish him off for the greater good. And it does seem that we've got one ship up the top right that's going to go for our flagship. We can see that in the corner of the minimap, but I'm a little bit preoccupied right now with my own ramming. It looks like my flagship on its minuscule of health might be going down. There we go. Bang. Looking beautiful. Looking beautiful. I lost my own ship to do that, but hey, it wasn't really worth it for the point value. I should have just shot it, but it was a good feeling right now. And it seems that although we're losing 1 point, we're capturing 2. We've got a lead on points, and that's this one in the bag. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed the gameplay. I hope you enjoy the style of video. That was a fantastic game, really well played, and a very stressful one as well. Hopefully it shows some of the possibilities that silent running fleets can do against fighters and bombers. Sometimes I personally think it's worth baiting a few out at the beginning. Sometimes maybe it won't be. I'd like to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Take care.